hell knows what's going on. Let's talk about the Becher Chase. We'll switch to Aintree for the first time. Before we talk about the race itself, a number of jockeys have expressed concerns about the lowering of the Grand National fences. They spoke with Matt Chapman. I think they wanted to remain anonymous. Nick Luck picked up on this. He contacted Aintree. They had indeed lowered the fences. The point that's been made by George and those jockeys to Matt Chapman is that the intention was to make the fences safer. Their view is that it's backfired because you're now able to jump the fences faster and horses are more inclined to go at a much speedier tempo over those fences. Is that what you're being hearing as well? And are you concerned about the lowering of the Grand National fences?
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think it'll have the desired effect. I don't think that lowering the fences is going to make them any safer to jump. I think the speed involved is what causes the problems. And lowering the fences just allows you to go faster down to them. The horses don't back off them as much and have as much of a look at them. So yeah, I think we're bowing to the outsiders who don't really understand what we're doing. They don't understand racing. They don't understand the race itself. I hope it doesn't. I hope they're right, but I don't think it will have the desired effect myself.
Yeah, I don't think so either, and I think it's pretty concerning that Matt's able to get those quotes from jockeys. Like, they're not going to say that to him unless they genuinely think it. I understand that everybody is just trying to do what they think is right, and everyone is trying to put in place the safest race possible. But that quote from Ted Walsh, where he said, "If you don't like racing, go watch Peppa Pig," the substance of what he was saying gets lost. It's the quote after that that's really interesting. He said, "You're pandering to people who don't care about racing and actually want it gone, and they won't be happy until it's gone." So I don't know what. I think it's very difficult to really look at the BHA now and say you're not pandering. The whip rules are all about optics. They're not about welfare. They're adamant. It's got nothing to do with welfare. It's about the perception of the sport and making it look better. That's not working. And it's not making people who are anti-whip suddenly flock to the races. There's no evidence that that's the case, nor is there any evidence it's making racing better. And lowering the fences, if we're going to keep reacting every time something bad happens in a Grand National, then if you keep making changes, you'll change it to the point that the race is unrecognizable or it no longer exists.
Yeah, that's the sad truth of it. And like you say, what Ted Walsh said, it's not that they want the small changes we're making. They're not keeping anybody happy. They're certainly not keeping the racing industry happy, because we want we love this sport, and we know what is best in this sport, and they're not keeping the people who want the sport gone, because, like you said, these little changes aren't keeping them happy. They just want it gone altogether.
Yeah. Again, I understand everyone's trying to do what they think is the right thing, but you got to call that out when you see it. Even the dogs are annoyed. They're very annoyed at this lowering of the fences. All right. Betting for the Becher Chase, Ashtown Lad 4-1, the defending champion. Percussion for Laura Morgan and Harry Reid. They really are barking about this race. 6-1 shot. The big breakaway for Harry Cobden and Joe Tizard 8-1. Celeb Delen, best price 10s, and Cocoa Beach. Danny Gilligan keeps the ride, rightly so, after that brilliant victory in the Troy Town. Probably weighted to the gills, though, a 12-1 shot. What's your take on the race?
Well, Ashtown Lad, couple of disappointing runs, but I'm sure he's going to be ready for Saturday. Like you say, last year's winner. He's pretty short at 4-1 for it, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
The big breakaway. I mean, he fell at the second in the national, wasn't it? The second, pretty sure.
I think so.
I think I like him. I like the big breakaway for this. A good run at Wincanton. He'll be coming here fit and ready. I'm a big fan of the big breakaway.
I love the fact that Harry Cobden's going to ride him. He's one of the best in the weighing room. He's one of the best on both sides of the RSC, and if he can get him into a good rhythm, he'll go real close. He'll love the ground as well. And he has the potential to land a big race like this. Like, it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going through some of the stats for this. 3 of the last 5 winners were making their debut over the Grand National fences. There used to be a mindset that you had to have experience of the big Aintree fences. That's not the case recently. But 6 of the last 16 winners had run in the previous Grand National, and lots of them had bombed out. They'd either been brought down, fell, pulled up. So it doesn't really matter what you've done as long as you've gone over those Grand National fences for some. And then for others, doesn't seem to matter if they have the experience at all. He'll love the ground. He should stay. There's a lot of upside to him.
Yeah. I think the idea of them having to have a go over the fences was probably when the fences were what they were. I mean, that's the difference now, I think. I think you probably did need to have a spin over them. My first ever ride over the national fences, I can say this now because I'm retired, they were bigger in my day. But it's actually true. They definitely were. And so I think having the experience over them is something of the past, really.
Is there still a certain profile or an element about a racehorse that you're looking for to be suited to those fences? Or are they now just different looking, but almost the same as the conventional ones?
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I mean, obviously, you don't want to go out in something that's not a brilliant jumper. But Tiger All, he wasn't a brilliant jumper, was he?
No.
Nor was Pinot de Rey. Like, if you watch Pinot de Rey at Eight Naspel getting Pinot de Rey around there, and they were a bit bigger back then. But yeah, I mean, look, you want something that's looks after itself and is clever. You don't want anything too exuberant, probably, and you don't want anything that doesn't jump. So, but no, I think it's becoming a race now where you can run most in. Yeah.
Yeah. I've come up with a horse at a big price. He does have a couple of letters in his form, as opposed to, and to be fair, the Big Breakaway's got a few letters in his form as well.
He does, yeah.
But when he's good, he's very, very good. Nigel Twiston-Davies has won this race 6 times, and under supervision was initially a very, very interesting runner. But he has way more letters in his form than the horse that I'm going for. And that's the horse who beat him in the Virgin Bet Grinthorpe Handicap Chase back in March, and then followed that up by running an absolute blinder behind Kitty's Light in the Bet 365 Handicap Chase. And I don't think got the credit for it. And that's Mordor.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could run a huge race. I really do. 28 to 1. You wouldn't tell me what it was beforehand, but
no,
I do agree with you. That he went up £4 for finishing second to Kitty's Light. That was a really good performance. Has had a run under his belt. Yes, he pulled up, but I mean, he just will get there in a little bit better shape for that run, won't he?
Yeah, very much so. And with the greatest respect to these horses, Kitty's Light would lap this field. Like, Kitty's Light's a really high class, proper staying chaser. Not grade 1 class, but really loves this kind of staying contest. He is on a career high mark. He's on 140, as you said. His win, I think, was 131, and then up to 136.
131.
And then up £4 after finishing second there. But he could, I was going to say he could improve for these fences. Possibly not in this day and age. There's an argument that he's better on good to soft ground, but he has run well on soft. He's won twice and placed 4 times on soft ground. He stays all day. He's won twice at this distance. You can get 33 to 1 about him.
Yeah, the ground up there will be lovely, though. I don't think that ground is going to be too soft. It tends to drain really well, and out on the national courses, it's different anyway. I don't think that ground will be too soft, so I wouldn't be so worried about that for him.
Yeah, and Turf Tracks are saying that the hurdle and chase track is both soft, good to soft in places. So backing up exactly what you're saying. Right, that's what I'm going to go for. 33 to 1 shot. Mordor. It'll be Moida in the betting ring if he goes and gets the job done for us. And you're going for the Big Breakaway, who was my second pick. At 8 to 1, I can see him winning. I'm just not sure if I can trust him enough to part with cash, which almost certainly means he's going to win, considering I dismissed That's All Right Gino on the basis of stamina grounds, and dismissed I Am Maximus because, well, Mark doesn't want to ride him and neither does Paul. So he's clearly got no chance. And that all blew up in my face last weekend.
Well, it tends to do that when we put our neck on the line. You say he's weighted to the gills, but Cocoa Beach could put in a real big show.
Yeah, he is. He's rated 162. I think, let me check the stats. 9 of the last 10 winners were rated no higher than 142. Now, that's just the stats, and it's just what's happened before. It doesn't mean that a horse like Cocoa Beach, who's in form, an Irish Grand National Trial winner, a Troy Town winner, just comes along and goes, I laugh at stats, and goes and does it.
Harry Cobden, absolutely. He rode him in the National, just said he was the best spin around there. He pulled up before 2 out, I think, but he just absolutely loved him. The National 4 mile, whatever, 3 mile 2, doesn't have as far to go. More weight in his back, but he's going there in a rich vein of form.
This reminds me of a quote from Eddie O'Leary, and Eddie might have been a bit mischievous with this one, but he was being asked about conflated for the Betfair. Not like Eddie would ever be mischievous. He was being asked about conflated going for the Betfair Chase, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of, there's some good grade 1 staying prizes in Ireland, and we don't travel our horses to Britain outside of Cheltenham. Well, here's Gigginstown and Aintree for the Becher. So maybe that's a tip in itself.
Maybe he fancies them too, yeah.
Yeah, possibly. A very interesting runner, and particularly with the context of what you just said as well. He would need to beat the stats, but hey, there's no Norval on the show today, so fly away.